The quantum sensors aboard the International Deep Space Station, Horizon, weren't supposed to detect anything unusual that day. Dr. Talia Patel had been running her standard morning diagnostics when the readings first appeared, subtle distortions in the fabric of spacetime that shouldn't exist according to conventional physics. "Control, are you seeing these fluctuations?" Talia's dark eyes narrowed as she studied the holographic display floating before her. The quantum field variations were unlike anything recorded in human history. "Confirmed, Dr. Patel," responded Director Owen Wallace from Mission Control. "We're tracking similar anomalies across all monitoring stations. Whatever this is, it's happening on a massive scale." Talia's fingers flew across the haptic interface, analyzing the incoming data. After 15 years of searching for signs of advanced civilizations, they'd found something, but not what anyone had expected. These weren't simple radio signals or light patterns. The very structure of reality was being manipulated with precision and purpose. "Sir, I'm detecting a coherent pattern," she reported, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "These aren't natural phenomena. Someone or something is trying to communicate." The response came not from Mission Control, but from the distortions themselves. Reality rippled like water, and a vast shape emerged from what appeared to be a fold in space itself. The vessel, if it could be called that, was organic and crystalline at once, its geometry following rules that human mathematics couldn't describe. "This is Director Wallace to all stations, initiate first contact protocols immediately," Owen's voice cracked with tension. "Dr. Patel, you're our leading expert. Take point on communications." Before Talia could respond, a presence filled her mind, alien thoughts that bypassed normal sensory channels and emerged directly in her consciousness. The beings called themselves the Nephilim, and they had come with a warning. "Your species has drawn attention," the thoughts manifested. "Your quantum experiments echo across dimensions. The harvesters have noticed." Through the mental link, Talia saw visions of entire civilizations being consumed, not destroyed, but absorbed into something vast and hungry that existed in dimensions beyond human comprehension. The Nephilim were refugees, fleeing across galaxies and dimensions from an enemy that couldn't be fought with conventional weapons. "We offer you a choice," the Nephilim continued. "Submit to our protection and guidance, or face the harvesters alone. You have 6 of your months to decide." The massive ship rippled and vanished, leaving behind only distorted sensor readings and a sense of creeping dread. Talia's hands trembled as she began documenting everything she'd experienced. "Director," she called, her voice firm despite her fear, "we need to convene an emergency session of the World Science Council. What I saw in those visions, we need to completely revolutionize our understanding of physics if we're going to have any chance of survival." Within hours, the highest levels of government worldwide were briefed on the situation. The Nephilim's ultimatum sparked fierce debate: submit to alien oversight or face annihilation by an even greater threat. But Dr. Talia Patel saw a third option in the quantum data they'd gathered. The Nephilim's technology was advanced, but their approach to dimensional physics revealed crucial blind spots. They manipulated higher dimensions through brute force, missing subtle interactions that Talia's sensors had detected. There might be a way to transcend conventional spacetime altogether, but it would require pushing human science beyond anything previously imagined. In a secured facility beneath the Atacama Desert, Talia presented her findings to a select group of humanity's brightest minds. "The Nephilim think we're primitive because we're bound by three-dimensional thinking," she explained, projecting complex mathematical models. "But their own technology shows they're trapped by their assumptions about how dimensions interact. We have 6 months to prove that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, it's our ability to see beyond established limits." As the presentation concluded, Dr. Rajesh Kumar, the quantum computing pioneer, spoke up. "What you're proposing breaks every known law of physics." Talia smiled grimly. "Exactly. The laws we know are shadows of deeper principles. The Nephilim gave us their ultimatum thinking we'd either submit or die. Instead, They've given us exactly what we need to transcend their understanding of reality itself. The next day, Project Ascension was born, humanity's secret attempt to achieve what even their would-be protectors thought impossible. As Talia reviewed the initial team assignments, she felt the weight of time pressing down. 6 months to solve the fundamental mysteries of the universe, or face subjugation or extinction. The quantum sensors continued their silent vigilance of deep space, but now they served another purpose, learning from the dimensional distortions the Nephilim had left behind. In their arrogance, they'd revealed more than they intended, and humanity would make use of every scrap of data in their fight for survival. Begin Phase 1, Talia commanded, watching as the world's most advanced quantum computers spun up to full power. The race to rewrite the laws of physics had begun. Commander Marcus Rhodes stood in the heart of Project Ascension's underground facility, watching as quantum engineers assembled what might be humanity's last hope. The massive ring-shaped device before him, dubbed the Infinity Gate, crackled with theoretical energies that shouldn't exist in normal space. Power fluctuations are holding steady at 60%, reported Dr. Rajesh Kumar, his eyes fixed on streams of data flowing across holographic displays. The quantum entanglement field is more stable than we predicted. Marcus nodded, his weathered face reflecting the ethereal light from the gate. At 45, he'd spent his career in special operations, but nothing had prepared him for commanding humanity's most ambitious scientific project. How soon until we can attempt a full-scale test? 3 weeks, minimum, Talia Patel answered, entering the control room. Dark circles under her eyes testified to countless sleepless nights. We've learned more about dimensional physics in 4 months than in all of human history, but we're still missing something crucial. The facility shuddered as another power surge rippled through the systems. Since the Nephilim's ultimatum, the world's resources had been secretly diverted to Project Ascension. On the surface, humanity appeared to be preparing to submit to alien protection. Underground, they worked frantically to achieve the impossible. Dr. Patel, Marcus called, walk me through the latest breakthrough. Talia manipulated the holographic display, showing complex mathematical models. The Nephilim use brute force to tear through dimensions, like drilling through a wall. We've discovered that dimensions naturally intersect at quantum nodes. We don't need to break through, we just need to find the doors that are already there. A junior researcher, Zara Patel, rushed into the control room, her tablet displaying new sensor data. Dr. Patel, Commander, we're detecting massive dimensional distortions at the edge of the solar system. They matched the harvester signatures from the Nephilim's warning. Marcus felt his blood run cold. They're early. How long? At current velocities, they'll reach Earth in 2 weeks, Zara reported, her voice steady despite the implications. The Nephilim's deadline was a lie. Talia's fingers flew across the controls, correlating the new data with their research. No, they didn't lie. They didn't know. The harvesters aren't following normal spacetime rules. They're taking shortcuts through dimensions we haven't even discovered yet. Emergency alerts blared throughout the facility as Marcus initiated crisis protocols. Dr. Kumar, how quickly can we get the Infinity Gate operational? 2 weeks at the absolute minimum, Rajesh answered, already redirecting power to critical systems. And that's assuming we solve the quantum stability issues. We have less than that, Talia interrupted, her eyes wide as she studied the sensor feeds. The dimensional wake of their approach is accelerating their transit. 10 days, maximum. Marcus watched the coordinated panic of humanity's brightest minds as they raced against extinction. What do you need to make this work? Talia squared her shoulders, determination replacing fear. The Infinity Gate works on principles similar to quantum entanglement, but across dimensional planes. We need a way to stabilize the quantum field enough to create a sustainable passage. Could we use the harvester's own dimensional wake? Zara suggested, pulling up comparative analyses. The distortions they're creating might provide the stability matrix we need. Talia's expression shifted as the implications hit her. We'd be using their own power against them. It's brilliant, but we'd only get one chance. If we fail. If we fail, we're no worse off than waiting for them to reach us, Marcus finished. How many people do you need? A skeleton crew, Talia replied, already calculating. Too many observers would destabilize the quantum field. 20 people, maximum. Over the next week, the chosen few worked without rest, modifying the infinity gate to harness the approaching dimensional distortions. Above ground, the world's governments maintained a facade of normalcy while secretly evacuating key personnel to hardened bunkers. The Nephilim's massive ship reappeared 3 days before the Harvester's estimated arrival. Their message was simple: submit now, or be consumed. Marcus stood before the assembled crew in the gate chamber, knowing these might be his final orders. Everything we've built, everything we've learned, comes down to this moment. Humanity won't kneel, and we won't be consumed. We're going to show both the Nephilim and the Harvesters that they've underestimated us for the last time. The Infinity Gate hummed with power as final preparations were made. Talia's team had engineered something that violated every known law of physics, a device capable of not just traversing dimensions, but reshaping them. Commander, Talia called from her station, dimensional distortions are reaching critical levels. The Harvesters will be here in less than 6 hours. Marcus took his position at the command station. Then let's show them what humanity can do when we're backed into a corner. Begin final countdown. The gate's quantum field began to pulse, drawing power from the very dimensional distortions that heralded humanity's approaching doom. In the depths of the facility, humanity prepared to either transcend their limitations or face extinction trying. The Infinity Gate's quantum field pulsed with impossible energies as Dr. Rajesh Kumar made his final calibrations. 4 hours remained until the Harvester's arrival, and humanity's last hope rested on theories that rewrote the fundamentals of physics. Field coherence at 95%, Zara reported, her voice steady despite the mounting tension. The Harvester's dimensional wake is actually strengthening our containment matrix. Through the facility's quantum sensors, they watched reality itself begin to warp. The approaching Harvesters existed in dimensions beyond human comprehension, their very presence distorting the fabric of spacetime. But where others saw doom approaching, humanity had found opportunity. All personnel, prepare for initial power transfer, Commander Rhodes announced. The chosen 20 crew members took their positions around the gate chamber. Dr. Patel, begin the sequence. Talia initiated the startup protocols she designed. The gate's ring structure began to rotate, creating geometric patterns that seemed to overlap with themselves in impossible ways. Power transfer commencing. Quantum field harmonics are stable. The air itself seemed to thicken as the gate tapped into dimensional energies. Warning alerts flashed across monitoring stations as sensors detected phenomena that shouldn't exist in normal space. Sir, Zara called out, we're receiving a transmission from the Nephilim vessel. The alien message manifested directly in their minds: your attempts to resist are futile. The Harvesters cannot be fought. Submit to our protection while you still can. Marcus exchanged glances with Talia before responding. We appreciate your warning, but humanity has chosen a different path. Through their mental link, the Nephilim's confusion was palpable. Your primitive technology cannot save you. The Harvesters exist beyond your comprehension. That's where you're wrong, Talia projected back. We don't need to comprehend them fully to use their own power against them. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, it's our ability to adapt and overcome. The gate's energy readings suddenly spiked. Reality itself seemed to hiccup as the quantum field expanded. Where the Nephilim forced their way through dimensions, humanity had found the natural intersections between planes of existence. Dimensional resonance achieved, Rajesh announced, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. The gate is drawing power directly from the Harvester's wake. Through the facility's sensors, they watched as space itself began to fold. The Harvester's approach had created ripples in reality, ripples that humanity would surf to transcend their dimensional limitations. "Sir," Zara interrupted, "new contacts detected. The harvesters aren't alone." The sensor displays showed additional signatures approaching from multiple vectors. Other civilizations, following in the harvesters' wake like scavengers after a predator. "They're not here to help," Talia realized, analyzing the patterns. "They're waiting to pick over whatever the harvesters leave behind. We've seen this before in our own history, smaller powers taking advantage of a greater power's conquest." Marcus's expression hardened. "Then they'll all witness what happens when humanity is pushed too far." Status of the gate. "Field containment at maximum stability," Rajesh reported. "Ready for primary activation on your order." The gate's rotation reached its peak velocity, creating a perfect resonance with the dimensional distortions. Where the Nephilim saw only chaos in the harvester's approach, humanity had found patterns, and patterns could be manipulated. "New data from the quantum sensors," Zara called out. "The harvester's dimensional wake is accelerating their arrival. Time to contact, 3 hours." Talia's hands flew across her controls, making final adjustments. "The good news is that their wake is making our job easier. The dimensional barriers are already weakened. We don't need to break through, we just need to reshape what's already there." "Sir," Rajesh interrupted, "we're detecting quantum entanglement on a massive scale. The harvesters aren't just approaching through higher dimensions, they're reaching through time itself." The implications hit Talia like a physical blow. "They're not just coming to consume us now, they're trying to erase us from history itself. No wonder no civilization has ever successfully fought them." Marcus watched the sensor displays, his military training converting fear into focused action. "Can we use that against them? If they're manipulating time?" "Yes," Talia's eyes lit up with sudden understanding. "Their temporal manipulation creates additional dimensional intersections. We don't just have to transcend space, we can use their own time distortions to bootstrap our evolution." The gate's quantum field flared with new intensity as Talia implemented the modifications. They weren't just building a door between dimensions, they were creating a catalyst for humanity's transformation. "All personnel, prepare for primary activation," Marcus commanded. "Whatever happens in the next few hours will determine not just humanity's future, but our entire existence across time itself." The gate's energies reached critical levels as the final countdown began. In orbit, the Nephilim watched in confusion as their primitive charges attempted something that should have been impossible. At the edge of the solar system, the harvesters approached, unaware that their prey had learned to turn their own power against them. Humanity stood at the threshold of either transcendence or extinction, and they faced it as they had faced every other challenge in their history, with determination, ingenuity, and the courage to attempt the impossible. The Infinity Gate unleashed energies that defied conventional physics as the final countdown reached 0. In the control center, sweat beaded on Talia's forehead as she initiated the primary sequence. 2 hours until harvester contact, Zara announced, monitoring the dimensional distortions. Their temporal wake is causing cascading anomalies throughout the solar system. Through the facility's quantum sensors, they watched as reality itself began to splinter. The harvester's approach was causing more than just spatial distortions, they were creating fractures in time itself. Multiple temporal echoes detected, Rajesh reported, his voice tense. We're picking up signals from potential futures, and warnings from possible pasts. The gate's quantum field suddenly pulsed with unexpected energy. Images flooded their monitoring stations, glimpses of alternate timelines where humanity had faced the harvesters before. In each timeline, civilizations had either submitted to the Nephilim or been consumed by the harvesters. These aren't just possibilities, Talia realized, analyzing the quantum signatures. They're messages. In every timeline where humanity survived, they found a way to send information back. Commander Rhodes studied the incoming data. Can we use this? If other versions of humanity learned something about the harvesters. Better, Talia's fingers flew across her controls. The temporal fractures aren't just showing us other timelines, they're showing us the harvester's true nature. The quantum displays revealed patterns that transcended normal spacetime. The harvesters weren't just beings from higher dimensions, they were living equations, mathematical entities that consumed the very laws of physics that governed reality. "Sir," Zara called out urgently, "the Nephilim vessel is powering up weapons systems. They're realizing what we're attempting." Through their mental link, the Nephilim's message carried traces of fear: you cannot be allowed to continue. What you're attempting threatens the stability of all dimensions. "No," Talia projected back, understanding flowing through her like electricity. "What we're attempting threatens your control. You've been shepherding species into submission for millennia, using the harvesters as your boogeyman." The truth unfolded in the quantum data. The Nephilim hadn't been running from the harvesters, they had been using them, directing them toward civilizations that refused to submit to Nephilim protection. "Incoming temporal transmission," Rajesh announced. It's using our own quantum encryption protocols." The message appeared on their screens, sent from a timeline where humanity had discovered the truth too late: the harvesters are tools, not invaders. The Nephilim created them to enforce their galactic hierarchy. "Don't try to fight them, transcend them." Marcus's expression hardened as the implications became clear. They've been playing both sides, offering protection from a threat they themselves control. "Not control," Talia corrected, studying the quantum patterns. "They created the harvesters but lost control of them. Now they use them like shepherds using wolves to herd sheep." The gate's energies surged as it absorbed data from multiple timelines. Where other civilizations saw only chaos in the temporal disruptions, humanity recognized patterns that could be reshaped. "1 hour until harvester contact," Zara reported. "The Nephilim vessel is charging weapons." Before she could finish, reality rippled. The Nephilim ship fired, but their energy beams distorted in impossible ways as they encountered the gate's quantum field. "They don't understand what we've built," Talia explained, her voice filled with wonder. "This isn't just a gateway between dimensions. It's a lens that focuses all possible futures into a single point of transformation." The facility shuddered as the gate began its final sequence. Through their sensors, they watched the harvesters approach, vast mathematical entities that consumed dimensions like cosmic algorithms gone rogue. "Sir," Rajesh called out, "quantum field coherence is reaching theoretical limits. We're seeing energy patterns that shouldn't be possible." Marcus watched as humanity's greatest achievement hummed with power. "Dr. Patel, what exactly happens when we activate the gate?" Talia's eyes reflected the quantum displays as she answered. "We're not just opening a door to higher dimensions. We're using the harvester's own temporal wake to catalyze humanity's evolution. Every possible future where humanity survives, every lesson learned across countless timelines, all focused through the gate into a single moment of transformation." The Nephilim's vessel launched another attack, but their weapons couldn't penetrate the quantum fields surrounding the facility. Their mental messages carried increasing panic as they realized they'd lost control of both their tools and their intended vassals. 30 minutes to contact," Zara announced. "The harvester's temporal wake is beginning to affect local spacetime." Humanity stood at the threshold of either transcendence or extinction, armed with knowledge from countless alternate futures and technology that violated the fundamental laws of reality. The next half hour would determine not just their fate, but the fate of every civilization that had ever faced the choice between submission and consumption. As the harvesters approached their final vector, the infinity gate pulsed with energies drawn from countless potential futures. In the control center, humanity's last hope rested on theories that rewrote the fundamental laws of physics. 10 minutes to contact," Zara announced, her voice steady despite the reality-bending forces surrounding them. "The harvester's temporal wake is reaching critical intensity." Through their quantum sensors, they watched as vast mathematical entities approached, living equations that consumed the very fabric of spacetime. The Nephilim's vessel hung in orbit, their weapons rendered useless by the gate's quantum field. Field coherence at maximum, Rajesh reported, his hands dancing across holographic controls. All systems ready for final activation. Talia stood before the gate, watching as it drew power from the dimensional distortions. The harvesters aren't just coming to consume us, she explained. They're coming because they have to. They're bound by their own mathematical nature. Commander Rhodes understood. They're not predators, they're programs, following their original instructions even after breaking free from Nephilim control. The facility shuddered as reality itself began to buckle. Through the temporal fractures, they glimpsed other worlds, other futures, civilizations that had faced this moment and found different answers. 5 minutes, Zara called out. Dimensional barriers are becoming unstable throughout the solar system. The Nephilim made one final attempt at mental contact. You cannot comprehend what you're dealing with. The harvesters exist beyond mortal understanding. No, Talia projected back. We understand better than you ever did. You created them as tools of control, but you never understood what you were really making. They're not destroyers, they're catalysts. The truth had been hidden in the quantum patterns all along. The harvesters didn't just consume civilizations, they transformed them. Those that survived their passage evolved into something new, something that transcended conventional existence. 2 minutes to contact, Rajesh announced. Gate energy levels exceeding all theoretical limits. Marcus watched as the final pieces fell into place. They're not coming to end us. They're coming to test us. Yes, Talia's eyes lit up with understanding. The Nephilim created them to enforce submission, but they evolved beyond that. Now they force civilizations to either transcend or perish. The Nephilim have been using them wrong all along. The gate's quantum field expanded, drawing power from the approaching entities. Where the Nephilim saw only destruction in the harvester's wake, humanity had found purpose, a forced evolution that either elevated or eliminated species across the galaxy. 1 minute, Zara's voice cut through the humming of reality-warping energies. The harvesters are beginning their final approach. Talia initiated the activation sequence. We don't need to fight them or submit to them. We just need to prove we're ready to evolve. The gate's energies reached their peak as vast mathematical entities entered the solar system. The harvesters weren't monsters or weapons, they were tests, challenging civilizations to transcend their limitations or face extinction. 30 seconds, Rajesh called out. Quantum field is stable. Ready for final sequence. In orbit, the Nephilim watched in growing horror as they realized their mistake. For millennia, they had used the harvesters to force civilizations into submission, never understanding that they were meant to force evolution instead. 10 seconds, Zara announced as reality itself began to transform. The gate activated, focusing the combined knowledge of countless potential futures into a single moment of transformation. Humanity didn't fight the harvester's approach, they embraced it, using the mathematical entity's own nature to catalyze their evolution. In that moment of transcendence, humanity understood. The harvesters hadn't come to end them, but to elevate them. Every civilization faced this choice, evolve beyond their physical limitations or be consumed by them. The quantum field expanded across Earth as the harvesters arrived. But instead of consumption, there was transformation. Humanity didn't just survive the encounter, they transcended it, evolving into beings that existed across multiple dimensions, understanding reality in ways their former selves could never comprehend. The Nephilim fled as their carefully maintained galactic hierarchy crumbled. Their former vassals would soon face the harvesters themselves, and now they knew the truth, submission wasn't the answer. Evolution was. In the aftermath, as humanity explored their new existence, they understood their responsibility. They would watch as other civilizations faced their own moments of transcendence, offering not protection, but understanding. The galaxy would never be the same, and the silence that fell across it wasn't one of fear, but of transformation. Commander Rhodes, Dr. Patel, and their team became part of something greater, guides for a humanity that now existed beyond conventional spacetime. The Infinity Gate stood as a monument to their achievement, a reminder that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in fighting or submitting, but in understanding and evolving. The silence that fell across the galaxy wasn't an ending, but a beginning, the start of a new era where civilizations would face the choice between transcendence and extinction, guided by the example of a species that had dared to evolve beyond their creator's designs.